What say, folks? What say? Welcome to the house that never sleeps. It's always nice to see the YouTubers come back here and do these horrible things that we got such bad habits of doing. There's a lot of misunderstanding about saddles and acoustic guitars, and just all kind of stuff, man. Misunderstood. Well, that's what this video is about. Let's get right into it. Yeah, just all kind of weird talk on Facebook and the forums, or the, not forums, they're groups, Facebook groups. And I read all kind of madness over there. Some of it makes sense, some of it's good, some of it's right. Most of it you read over there, beware, is wrong. Well, I don't know if most of it is. I'd say at least 60-40, 60 being right and 40 wrong. So if you read over there in any of those groups, be careful. Now, we're talking about bridge saddles, acoustic guitar saddles. Some of this applies to electric guitar, and intonation and the nut mainly. We're talking about those things. First off, people talk about and they ask me a lot, how deep should I file my string grooves in the saddle back here? You don't file string grooves in your saddle, not at all. If your guitar has got string grooves back here, it's probably a very old guitar and they were worn in there from playing the vibration of the strings. You should never have string grooves on a flat top acoustic guitar. Now, granted, arch tops has got that tail piece in the back, you know what I'm talking about. Laps over the end of the guitar here, comes up, and then all 6 strings come off the tail piece and over usually a bridge or a bridge saddles. And you can file those a little bit if you want your string width a little bit wider. I'm talking about the distance between each string. Yeah. But this is a total other thing I'm talking about with basically with guitars that have bridge pins. Okay? Those string distances between each string width, whatever you call it, are preset at the factory when that guitar was built. I killed a gnat just now. Yep, there it is. It's guts all over me. Anyways, I'm going to get you. I'm going to bring you over here, and I'm going to show you several things. Yeah, another thing talked about on there a lot. When you hit a note on a guitar, and this is true on any guitar, acoustic or electric, when you hit a note on it, everything from that note back to the nut doesn't count. Wrong again. I'll bring you over here and show you and explain it all to you. So I'm going to get you in my hands now, and I'm going to caress your ass. Alright, we're talking about, first of all, string grooves in your saddle. Now you can look here and you'll see there are no grooves in that saddle whatsoever. No string grooves. Your acoustic guitar that has bridge pins is not going to have string grooves. If it does, take the saddle out and throw it away and make a new one or buy a new one for it. Boy, there's a lot of dust here, I see. This guitar's been in storage a while, I think. But yeah, see, you should have no grooves, man. The string should come up out of the hole over the saddle and go into the nut. This breakaway angle right here, where it comes out of the hole, right where it comes out, the steeper that angle right there is, the better. I can see a little bit less on the 3rd string, and it's a little hard to see. I don't know if you can see the 1st and 2nd or not. 3rd string's not as much as the 4th, 5th, and 6th. 6 looks pretty good. Yeah, and actually it looks the best of all 6 of them. That creates tremendous downward pressure on your saddle, and it's going to help you with sound. If you got a higher saddle, it's even more downward pressure, and it's going to help you even more. Alright, now let me put the camera back in the tripod. Oh yeah, I was going to tell you, these holes are drilled out at the factory, okay? The distance between your strings, between every string, is predetermined when the guitar is built. So, these are drilled out. That's your string distance right there, your string spacing. That's it. You can measure from the center of 1 to the center of 6 and get the overall distance. You got to do that if you order like a Mitchell's Platemate. Alright? If you go filing grooves in here and pulling the string off to the side or inward, you know, or away from each other, or trying to spread them out, you're screwing up. You shouldn't be doing that because they're predetermined by these pinholes. I think I have another video on this, an old one, but we had so many new subscribers, I thought, you know, I need to touch on that again, especially after what I read today, wow, on Facebook. But yeah, man, this angle that you see right here, right where the string comes up out of the hole, and it goes up and over the saddle. You like to see that come way up. I mean, up. The steeper it comes up, the better. A higher saddle would make that a steeper break angle. Okay. Now you can see this bridge is intonated, but you will not see any slots, string slots in the saddle. The strings just set right on top of the saddle. If yours, like I say, if yours got slots in it, take it out and toss it, and get a new one that does not have any slots. Now granted, like I said, old arch tops have a tail piece. They overlap usually the back right here, and then they come up in a V-like shape, and you got a bar across the center, and then your strings go through that, and then you come over a bridge. You know, instead of this design, it's a floating bridge usually, and you can cut, you know, it's okay to cut grooves in your bridge or make saddles for it or whatever. That's okay to get the proper string, because those things, the tail pieces are designed, the way they're designed, they pull the strings in all the time. So you might have to cut at least first, sixth, second, and fifth. You know, get them to keep from getting them pulled in, just like I did that just now. Hold on. Now, got that out of the way. All this talk about fretting a note and everything behind that note to the nut makes no difference whatsoever. You're only concerned with where you note the fret the note and to the saddle. And as I showed you, this saddle's already been compensated pretty much as far as it can be. I made the saddle, it's a tusk, and I'll compensate it. And it just so happens to be the second string is about as far back as it'll go. Even with these terribly old strings, there's another gnat, dead one. That's two since the show. It might sound a little sharp there. Anyways, let's say that note was sharp, okay? Let's say that it truly was sharp, and you've filed as much as you can possibly take off of the saddle back here. I hope that's in the frame. Just barely if it is. Need a cameraman. Alright, start all over. Say that note right there, note's sharp, and you have already taken as much off, increased this distance from the note to the saddle as much as you can. It's still sharp. What are you going to do? Who are you going to call? Well, it does matter back here, because you can come up here at the nut on that string, and where the breakaway angle is on the nut, right where the string leaves the nut, you can file back into the nut. What you're doing is making the overall string scale of that string longer, okay? But tuned at the same pitch, tuned at this very same pitch as this is right here, with a longer overall entire scale length, it's going to make that note lower. Instead of sharp, it's going to go flat, because you're increasing the entire scale length. It's the same thing as you're doing here. You increase its scale length here to make the note go flatter, okay? You can increase, it's the same thing you're doing here. You can increase the scale length from that note, 12th fret, to where the string lastly touches the saddle, and if it's sharp, by making it longer, it'll go flatter, okay? The same thing applies up here, only you're adjusting the entire scale length of the string by removing material, the breakaway point, making it longer between where it breaks away here and where it breaks away down at the saddle. By making that longer, that note tuned to the very same pitch is going to be lower. It's not going to note sharp anymore. Now people say, well, what about the rest of the frets from open or first fret down to the 12th? You fixed the 12th one, what about these up here? Usually they're not going to change. I'm going to show you, I'm going to throw some pictures in here, by the way. In fact, I'll put one in here right now of a compensated nut. And you can buy compensated nuts. Can't think right off what the name of them are. I can never think when the camera runs. Anyways, you can buy them, but I do it manually if I need to. There again, if this note's sharp, you cannot take any more back here off to make this distance longer. Come up at the nut and make the distance from back here to the nut longer. Okay? String tuned to the same exact pitch, it will note lower right there. So from now on, when people tells you, from where you note the guitar back to the nut don't make any difference. Or you can tell them what they're full of. Because it does. It makes a huge difference. So that's what I know about acoustic guitar bridge saddles. Now granted, not all of them. I'm only talking about ones that have bridge pins, okay? Like say arch tops and any other kind of guitars that does not have bridge pins, that does not apply to. But if they got bridge pins, it applies to. The string spacing has been predetermined, it's set, don't screw with it, just put the saddle in, get your string height, get the intonation right, and you can, yes, intonate the nut, and the things behind the note that you play, it does make a difference. You're changing a whole string scale length when you do that. Then if you're coming down on this 12th fret, the very note at the very same place within the scale, because the scale's on where it's going to change. So you can tell your friends about that. If you can find it on Facebook, check out some of those groups over there that talk about that stuff. There's some wild shit in there that I read, man. It's funny. Thank you guys. Cheers to you. And thanks to you new subscribers, man. I'll tell you what, you guys are about to rock me out of the boat, and I'm digging it. I appreciate it. YouTube's trying their best to kill this channel. They have been for nearly 3 years now, but let's show them they cannot do it. Cheers. Thank you. See you soon. What? What is it? Tell them. Say. Easy. 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 It's okay. Say. We love you. We love you. What is it? Oh, easy. Oh, easy. Take it easy. Oh, what? Oh.